What's up, my brothers? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Hopefully by the end of this video, this subscriber's question maybe answers a question that you didn't want to ask or you were too afraid to ask. But with no further ado, let's dive into his question, and hopefully by the end of it, you can take away something that you can apply to your life that can help you. So my boy Mr. Magnetic writes, I'm having a hard time unplugging from this desperate, destructive mindset. All my goals and motivation to improve myself more a means for me to attract women. So in a sense, I saw women as a prize. However, lately I've been seeing how single life is better and much more rewarding than a relationship, and I'm trying to unplug from this mindset of always putting women first and treating them like a prize. After I started doing this mental work, I find that I've lost motivation and I'm falling back into bad habits. What can I do to fix this? I don't want my life to revolve around women anymore. They are not worth it, and they are not a prize, most certainly. So my brother, thank you for your question. First and foremost, you are not alone in this journey. Nearly 1/3 of American adults reported feeling depressed in an October study of last year, up from 8.5% before the pandemic started. And that's according to Lancet.com. I'll put the link in the description box if you want to check out that study and that read. It's really interesting. There's a lot of statistics on there that have to deal with the rise in depression, and especially in young adults and young men like ourselves. So you are not alone in this journey. Don't feel afraid or discouraged to ask questions like this. And I've structured this channel on purpose so we as a collective, men ranging from the ages of 16 all the way to 65, are able to help each other, give life advice. And just realize you're not alone on this journey. We all respond to things in different ways depending on our upbringing, depending on what we've had to let go of in the past. We all have our own demons. I've talked about this many times on this channel. There's nothing wrong with expressing your vulnerability as a man to other men, as long as it's in a constructive way and we're not feeling sorry for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. So the first question I want to ask you is, do you really love yourself? Not maybe, not kind of, sort of, not only when I do these certain things and I have results with women or success in life and I meet my goals, but do you love yourself for just being you? Another way you can really truly see if you truly love yourself is by reflecting on how you allow others to treat you and how you are treating yourself. And by the end of this video, I'll give you guys 4 things you can apply to your life right now to start treating yourself better and start loving yourself more. But we just got to get past these first 2 initial things. Do you love yourself? How are you allowing other people to treat you? That's how you can tell how much you love yourself. And what are you doing to show that you love yourself in your daily activities? Because through your actions and how you treat yourself teaches other people how they can treat you. The next thing I want to tell you before we get into methods of self-improvement and what you can do to actually improve your situation is you have to understand with your purpose, you have to make sure it's something you love to do, not just something that motivates you financially. There's a lot of lawyers out there that hate their job. There's a lot of doctors out there that hate their job and they're only in it for the money, and they hate what they're doing. They've only done it because maybe a parent told them to do it. They felt some sort of pressure to achieve some sort of status in life financially, and instead of doing what they're passionate about, what they can get up and have a burning desire to do every day, they get up, they make a lot of money, right? But they hate their lives and they are miserable. In regards to your purpose, you must have a true and authentic passion for what you are doing. Even if it pays $35,000, $40,000 a year starting off, because you love what you're doing, you're going to invest more time into that, working longer hours, self-improving continuously in that area until you become an expert in whatever that is, so you can start to scale up your pay grade and you start to make more and more money doing that until you get to the point where your purpose is starting to make more money than your 9 to 5 and you're able to leave your 9 to 5 and focus more on your purpose. Build that up because you have this passion behind it. You know the vision. You're inspired every day when you get up, and that eventually becomes an empire because you have some sort of motivation behind it to continue to build upon it, and you love what you're doing. So here are 4 things I'd recommend you start applying to your life starting today so that you can start loving yourself more, number 1, and you can get out of this cycle of doing things only to please women, and that pedestalization of women completely ends in your mind, and you truly start to just love yourself for who you are. The first thing you need to implement in your daily routine is daily positive affirmations. This looks like you getting up in the morning, looking yourself in the mirror before you go out and you start your day and saying, I'm that dude, I'm that guy, I'm that man, I'm going to make it happen, I'm a machine, I'm out here ready to crush the day, and I love myself. First and foremost, I love who I am. There has to be one characteristic, one quality that other people have told you or that you feel about yourself is special and unique and is different than most people. We all have little bits and pieces to ourselves that make us complete and whole, but there's something unique that you bring to this world. But you shouldn't just be saying, I love myself. You should start implementing certain habits within your daily routine. And we'll talk about what these habits can be as you move down this list in order to truly show yourself that you love yourself. Because it's one thing to say it and then your behaviors, your mindset doesn't match up with that. There's another thing to actually implement that within your life. But just understand, what you think is eventually what you become and what will show up on the outside. That's always a reflection of what's going on the inside. The second thing you need to implement into your life is no negative escapes, which means no drinking, no smoking as in not just tobacco, marijuana as well. No masturbation. Drinking, smoking, masturbating, all of that does is just put a band-aid over a deep scar that you need to heal yourself. And what you need to do is get straight to the infected area and figure out what that is, instead of just putting little band-aids on that come off every day. And you have to keep putting new band-aids on, and this creates an addictive habit. It spikes your dopamine levels, so now you're more depressed when you're not doing these things. And instead of fixing the root of the problem, which is within you internally, you're doing all of these things to get your mind away from thinking about how can I improve the situation by engaging in bad, destructive, addictive behaviors. The third thing you can implement is healthier habits. This includes drinking a gallon of water a day, which helps flush out all the toxins that is constantly in our air, in the foods that we eat, the chemicals in there. It flushes you out. It constantly keeps your body healthy and hydrated, helps you have a clear mind. Getting sunlight for at least 30 minutes. This allows you to be exposed to UV rays, gets you your vitamin D for the day. It also just is good to be outside and in nature. A lot of times people have these jobs behind desks where they're constantly just typing on computers. You don't get enough sunlight. Many people aren't getting the vitamins they need from being in the sunlight every day. We used to be a society that was largely outside because we didn't have all this industrialization. So we got a lot more sunlight as a species and we evolved, and now we're lacking that, which is why we have rises in cancer and all these different things that come up in these illnesses that are starting to mutate. We're not getting enough sunlight. We're not getting out and active enough. You can implement this. Let's just say you work at 7 o'clock, you have to leave the house at 7, you can get up at 6:30 and get a little bit of sunlight before you go to work. You can squeeze it somehow into your day. If you have a break, go outside just for a little bit, get in the sunlight. It really will improve your mood. It gives you the proper vitamins that you need. And it's something I've been doing the last 2 years now, which is really up to my productivity. Other healthier habits include reading. You should be growing your mind. The more you grow your mind, the more connections you have with other people, the more you can network because you have a variety of things to talk about. You're able to talk to people on this level, and this level of society. You understand a little bit about everything, which makes you a more interesting person. And it's something like the top CEOs in the world read around 50 books per year, while the average everyday Joe reads about a book and a half, maybe, every year. The next healthy habit I have on the list is making your bed and keeping your spaces organized. The environments that you put yourself in will reflect on how you present yourself to the world and how your mind is. When you have a dirty room, when your bed's messy, and when you aren't in control of your physical spaces and your environment and doing something as simple as just making your bed, that shows to me that your mind is cluttered and your mind is disorganized, because once again, that is a reflection of what's going on internally. And that is now being shown externally through your daily habits and your daily routines. If you don't care for your health, that is going to reflect on your skin, your hygiene, all of these things. The same way as if I have a lot of disorganization on who I am and what my purpose is, I will most likely have a disorganized living space. I will have a disorganized computer. My files will be everywhere. I will not have a structure throughout my day and a weekly planner. I will just be living life on a whim. And instead of leading myself through logical masculine thinking, I'm led by my emotions and my day-to-day mood swings, how I feel. Instead of setting a structure for myself, I'm here, there, I'm everywhere. It depends on how my emotions are that day. And all of those things create disorganization and chaos. The next healthy habit should go without saying, but it's working out 3 to 4 days a week for at least 35 to 45 minutes. Whenever I've been in a rut or a slump of depression and I started working out consistently, that has always gotten me to feel a little bit better. It might have not gotten me completely out of that, but you're releasing a lot of stress when you work out. You're starting to see your results slowly, and you're starting to love yourself more because you're taking care of yourself. And that's also a reflection, once again, of what's going on internally, because the thinking man that's thinking ahead long term realizes that your health is wealth. You realize if you abuse your body right now when you're young, later on in life, you're going to have to pay back for the repairs on it. It's the same thing with a car. If I have a brand new car and I'm constantly slamming on the brakes, speeding, not getting my oil changed, not getting my tires rotated, by the time that car, 5 years down the line, 2 years down the line, if I'm never getting it changed, that car is going to break down, and the repairs on it, because you waited so long and you didn't take care of that car when it was a newer car, is now going to cost you double or triple of what it would have cost if you initially just fixed the problem. It's the same thing with your health. You have a toothache, you don't take care of it, you don't brush your teeth, you don't floss. Eventually later on, you're gonna have to pay for an entire new set of teeth, maybe veneers, and get all these surgeries done. That's going to cost you an arm and leg of what you could have spent early on just to get it fixed and nip that in the bud early on. The next thing on the list is really important and oftentimes gets overlooked because you don't realize how negatively it's affecting you, because a lot of it is subconscious. And you could say it doesn't affect you, but your subconscious mind, it is. All right, inside your mind, it is, whether you know it or not. But that is, you need to limit your exposure to social media. When you're on social media, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people's finish line, not the steps that they took during the race to get to the finish line. So you just see the end results. You're not seeing the nights that they had to stay up and sacrifice a lot of sleep, sacrifice the time with their family, their friends, and the cold nights, the nights that no one wants to talk about. They don't want to post these things because it's not pretty, it's not glamorous. And what you're seeing is all the glitz and the glamour that came with that hard work of them putting in the time and the effort early on. And we as humans, myself included, we tend to compare ourselves to other people. So if someone else has something that we want or we want to have, instead of being jealous of that person, you should ask that person how they got there. You should want to crave that information, that knowledge that that person has in order for them to put themselves in a situation and want to implement that in your life so you can do the same thing. Social media also affects your non-internet communication. So your communication skills are going to be lacking when you go out and about in the real world, which could also lead to you being depressed because now you're not able to make the connections you would have been able to if you weren't always on your phone. There's been studies that show if you've been on your phone more than 4 hours a day, and I know a lot of you guys are on your phone more than 4 hours a day, myself included, sometimes I can get caught up in that. I've been in that situation. That affects your communication when you go out into the real world and you have to actually interact with people because you're so used to communicating virtually. So I'm not telling you to delete all social media and stay off it completely, but just realize what it's doing to your mind when you're on it. And if you're running a business, obviously you're going to have to be online. Everything's online and you have to have a social media presence of some sort, but just limit the exposure that you have to it. So that means turning off your notifications on it. That means maybe only limiting yourself to going on twice a week at the most, or only just posting and not following too many people and not following these pages where you might start comparing yourself to other people, because you got to love yourself first and foremost. That's what I'm really trying to get through with this message, because you wouldn't be feeling like you need to do things for women if you truly did love yourself, because being on your purpose, being who you are, whoever you are, that should be enough. And it takes a lot of time to get to that place, but once you're there, you realize how valuable and how much of an asset you are to the world, and therefore you expect others to treat you in such a manner of respect and how you view yourself. So I hope this video was informative and helpful. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, you gotta love yourself first.